Albert Einstein was one of the most heinously evil people in the history of the world. He was related, via French Canadians, to people from French Guiana that mass murdered all but one French royal in the 1790s. Napoleon was the only eligible royal left. He became the monarch of France months after the murder of the rest of his royal family in an official coronation ceremony. The murderers' relatives and their associates started demanding France pretend to recognize them as the family of people who temporarily became the alternative French royal family for around 2 weeks, via the murders, before being executed by the army. They demanded the use of royal properties in France and an allowance from the French government. The organized crime group those people formed in the 1790s after the murders still riot in France around once a month, demanding the same thing. Einstein targeted my Habsburg royal family because all legitimate Habsburgs are descended from monarch of France Louis XIV. They were pretending they needed to steal my Habsburg royal family monarchy because France hadn't given them what they wanted yet. They decided to pretend stealing the Habsburg monarchy would be the next best thing to taking over royal properties in France, maybe even better. Murders of royal Habsburgs before and during World War I eventually resulted in the constitutional monarchy being permanently dissolved in 1922, as there was no royal authorized as the next emperor when Franz Joseph I was murdered in 1916. Einstein also targeted my Romanov family royals during World War I and made a violent and lazy attempt to steal the Romanov monarchy instead. His excuse was that he was part illegitimately a Hohenzollern from the other biological parent to being related to the lunatics from French Guiana who mass-murdered French royals in the 1790s. He was a biological cousin of Kaiser Wilhelm II and his successor Kaiser Adolf Hitler, who were royal cousins. My great-grandmother Tsarina Alexandra Fyodorova the Romanov married Nicholas Hohenzollern II and had 6 eligible children with him. Einstein was involved in the abduction and murder of all 8 Romanov royals in 1916. The hand-selected imposters he tried to lazily replace my Romanov family with were executed in 1917 after attempting to pretend to be the Romanov royal family in public for the first time that year. During World War II, a plan for the Einstein family to attempt to violently steal my Hohenzollern monarchy off the Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern was put together. The decision was made to attempt to pretend to illegally replace Kaiser Adolf Hitler with an intentionally inbred child, bred with his stolen sperm in his biological cousin Sadie Einstein, Albert Einstein's sister. She was part Saudi Arab as well as being a relative of the lunatics from French Guiana. Trying to pretend to replace my Habsburg monarchy and Romanov monarchy with imposters failed during World War I. So, they decided to try a real, intentionally inbred half Hohenzollern, half Einstein child, conceived whilst Kaiser Adolf was held prisoner of war in Yugoslavia. They abducted him from a hotel dinner hosted by Sadie Einstein to do it, in December 1943. They pretended the abduction was his fault, as he casually declined her offering to publicly date and get engaged at the dinner, stating he already had an official royal consort. Sadie got pregnant to Kaiser Adolf's stolen sperm outside the cell he was held prisoner in January 1944. The child was not eligible to become a Hohenzollern royal from the instant of conception, if born successfully. Once the child had been conceived, they started pretending the Einstein family was taking over as my Hohenzollern royal family constitutional monarchy of Germany when the child was born around November 1944. And that Kaiser Adolf would be forced to play along with all necessary authorizations, even if he was an emaciated shackled prisoner when they dragged him back to Germany after the baby was born. They therefore started pretending that my Hohenzollern royal family had to take blame for any crime committed by the Einstein family after the pregnancy started, because they were pretending the Einsteins were taking over as my Hohenzollern monarchy after the child was born, probably during 1945. They proceeded to pretend to blame Kaiser Adolf for any crime committed by Albert Einstein and his associates after the baby was conceived, including Einstein family members participating in the Jewish Holocaust and the mass genocide of over 10 million citizens and residents of Germany by a terrorism group called the Neo-Nazis that was established in December 1943, the month Kaiser Adolf was abducted from Berlin. They still pretend my Hohenzollern royal family, particularly Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern, gets historical blame for all crimes committed by the Einstein family, back to the date the inbred baby was conceived in January 1944, and beyond, where applicable. Pretending Sadie Einstein's inbred child was going to take over my Hohenzollern royal family after it was born in late 1944 is one of the reasons they pretend Adolf Hitler was never Kaiser of Germany at all, or even a royal Hohenzollern. He was the legitimate royal grandchild of Kaiser Wilhelm I, the cousin and successor of Kaiser Wilhelm II, and his grandmother was the half-sister of his cousin and predecessor Kaiser Wilhelm II's grandmother. Kaiser Adolf and Kaiser Wilhelm II were related through both parents. Albert Einstein regularly went to Auschwitz to watch people being mass-murdered in the complex, through one-way mirrors. Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern was a prisoner of war in Yugoslavia in an underground train station converted into a jail between December 1943 and his escape in late 1959. They pretended to blame my Hohenzollern royal family for any crimes committed by the Einstein family whilst he was held prisoner. The television was made commercially available to the public in the late 1940s after World War II. Sales to the public, via subsidies where applicable, increased markedly after 1950. When Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern escaped prisoner of war jail in late 1959 and was interrogated by Italian authorities, they were informed that Sadie had self-aborted the child at a dinner table outside his cell in April 1944. They were told, for the first time, the baby never got born. Masses of people in Europe, in the chaos of the aftermath of World War II, were behaving as if they were still waiting for Sadie to arrive with the baby, so the Einstein family could pretend to take over my Hohenzollern monarchy, the whole time Kaiser Adolf was illegally held prisoner between December 1943 and late 1959. They had faked Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern being to blame for any crime committed by, or involving, the Einstein family in the meantime. Kaiser Adolf Hitler the Hohenzollern died in Yarragon, Gippsland, Victoria, Australia, on the 20th of April, 1982, aged exactly 93, around 10 kilometers from my family home. My great-grandfather's remains are buried in Moe Memorial Cemetery, in Gippsland, next to his uncle and second predecessor Kaiser Friedrich Hohenzollern IV. His gravesite is only marked with his favorite brand of drums,